Drum Major Monday, Happi Yi of the Oregon Crusaders.
Welcome to Lift Up Leadership, the BoxAngle podcast. Lift Up Leadership is a show dedicated to exploring insightful information from the staff, students, and support teams of fantastic programs across the country 5 days a week. And now your host, Jordan Roquemore.
Hello everyone, welcome to Lift Up Leadership. Today we were lucky to have Happi Yi with us in the virtual studios, as it were, and I'd love for everybody to hear a bit of what she had today. So we put together this little 3-minute trailer for her work. We'll actually be joining her about halfway into the interview, where she's talking about her biggest challenge, or one of her biggest challenges as a drum major. Let's take a listen now. And one of the things I always like to start off with the biggest challenge, and I was wondering if you could, what would you say your biggest challenge as a drum major has been thus far?
My biggest challenge as a drum major was to remember my place, which sounds a little odd, so let me explain. As a drum major, especially in a drum corps, you're in this position where you're still a member 100%, but at the same time, you take on a lot of responsibilities that, you know, depending on your corps, some responsibilities go to staff members at other corps, and some responsibilities are just things that the rest of the membership will never have to deal with. Things like doing lights out, making rounds and checking that all the equipment trucks and things are closed every night, checking in at shows. Being the liaison between staff and members can be the most difficult thing because you're put in a position of power when really you have no more power than, you know, third trumpet, than the back row vibraphone or rack player. You have absolutely nothing over anybody in the organization except the title. And remembering that you're a member is sometimes the most difficult thing. For me, it was finding a balance between being a leader and being a dictator of sorts. I was very overzealous my first season, and I tried really hard to just band really hard and be as hardcore as possible. And as I progressed in my development as a drum major, I realized, for the most part, I could sit back and let the members figure out a lot of the stuff I was trying to micromanage, because I just didn't know how much of it was my job or how much of it wasn't. So I decided all of it was my job. Really, it's not. The biggest job of a drum major is to be a communicator, to be a liaison of information. And as soon as I figured that out, my job became easier, my life became more enjoyable, and really everything started to work out better when I figured out what my place was as a member, what my job was as a member, in relation to the staff and how I communicated with them, and especially in relation to my peers, who I constantly had to remind myself were my peers and not my, followers or whatever. I don't know what the right word is. The rest of the organization, they honestly work harder than drum majors in so many ways, but in different ways. They march on the field, they play the music, but they also don't deal with, the rookie who's crying in the bathroom having a panic attack because they're homesick. There's just a different list of responsibilities, and it's figuring out what that list is and being comfortable stepping down and keeping my pride in check when it comes to dealing with members and with staff.
Hey everyone, I hope you enjoyed that little tidbit from Happi Yi. Her show won't be coming out for another month or so, but on Lift Up Leadership we have tons more interviews with other great drum majors, staff, students from programs across the country. I'm going live on Wednesday the 1st. Hope you check us out when you get there. Thank you.
Thanks for listening to Lift Up Leadership, a BoxAngle podcast. Make sure to subscribe, rate, and review. You can also find us online at BoxAngle.com. or by searching for BoxAngle on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, or LinkedIn. We hope you enjoyed the show, and remember, leaders lift up.